Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Max Velocity weather forecast. And in today's forecast, we'll be breaking down a huge storm that's coming to the United States. And this storm is going to bring a ton of problems from the southern plains all the way back through the northeast United States, including the potential for heavy snowfall, severe weather, and as well as a pretty large cool down for this time of the year. I'll be giving you the latest breakdown on everything that you need to know in this forecast. And let's begin with what's happening right now in the United States today, and we will begin with the southern tier of the United States, and that is where we are continuing to see a huge area of moisture just surging out of the Pacific Ocean, and that actually led to some severe weather yesterday in Wisconsin and Illinois. We actually had a couple of tornadoes in southern Wisconsin, which, by the way, that has never happened in the month of February. We saw two tornadoes, one of which was a strong tornado. Presumably we'll have a much better idea of what the intensity was either later today or tomorrow, but that was again a very rare event that happened in the Midwest. Luckily, that storm is now moving into Canada, and that's going to be done here in the United States. But what we'll have to watch for as we go into this weekend is a low pressure system developing over the southwest United States. That'll move into the southern plains and eventually bring the potential for both a winter storm and a severe weather threat, again from Texas and Oklahoma all the way back through the northeast. But notice that surge of moisture crossing across the entire country, and that has led to a lot of cloud cover as well across the southern tier of the United States for today. Now let's talk more about the storms that are coming to the United States over the next several days. And to look at that, we're going to check out the future radar, giving you an idea of what we can expect with that winter storm potential, the severe weather threat, and much more. And let's begin with tomorrow, which is Saturday, February 10th. We do have some showers and storms that we'll have to watch for from the southern plains like South Texas all the way back through Ohio. Now, the biggest concern really tonight will be the chance for some isolated severe storms from Arkansas back through Indiana and Ohio. But again, tomorrow, a little bit of a different story. It's mostly some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. Once we go into late Saturday, we will need to watch for a couple of severe storms. Overall, a pretty isolated threat in Texas and Louisiana for Saturday afternoon. By the evening into the overnight hours going into Sunday, we will need to watch for the threat for some snow back over in the Texas Panhandle, New Mexico, and as well as the Oklahoma Panhandle, and as well as southwest Kansas, because that will lead to some potential for at least a few inches of snow. And we'll still have to watch for some showers and storms across Texas going into Sunday morning. A more elevated risk for severe weather will exist going into Sunday, which is Super Bowl Sunday, by the way. For those in southeast Texas back through Louisiana, a few of these storms will be capable of damaging winds, large hail, and as well as tornadoes. So have a tornado action plan in place and multiple ways to receive alerts. I'll show you the exact areas in the risk in just a moment. And then as we go into Sunday evening, we will need to watch the backside of this low pressure system for a mixture of rain and snowfall. Now, the big question mark is exactly how warm will it be in certain areas, because the warmer it is, obviously the lesser chance you have of snow, since the temperatures in Oklahoma and Texas will be pretty close to freezing overall. So we'll need to watch the trends pretty closely over the next 24 hours. But one thing that's a bit more certain is that we'll probably at least see more moderate to heavy snowfall in the Texas Panhandle and as well as western Oklahoma. The question area will be central Oklahoma back through north central Texas, where there might be more just a mixture of rain and snow. It probably will not be much in terms of heavy snowfall that leads to accumulation, for example. Going through Monday, showers and storms move into the southeast United States, and you might be thinking this winter storm is done, right? Not necessarily. This actually could explode as we go into Tuesday, because this will actually have the chance to go to a bomb cyclone. What that means is that the pressure drops 24 millibars over the time frame of 24 hours. So this is Monday around 3 o'clock. Notice 995 millibars, some showers and thunderstorms, a little bit of snow, but not much across areas in the Ohio Valley. But by Tuesday morning, this thing is going to intensify very quickly. And if this intensifies as fast as the European model is showing, we could easily see several inches. If not, we could even see feet of snow in areas like New England. So this will be definitely something to watch for as we head into Tuesday. And then as we go later into Tuesday afternoon, that system moves off to the east. But over that 24-hour time frame, this system will drop from about 995 millibars all the way down to about 971, which is, again, just kind of crazy to think about with this sort of system. Once we go later into next week, it'll be pretty quiet overall. We might get some sort of little clipper system in the Midwest, but to be honest with you, we're too far out to really give any exact details on what will exactly happen with that. But in terms of the southern plains right right now in terms of snowfall accumulation. Overall, I'm not expecting too much in Oklahoma. I do think most areas in southwestern and western Oklahoma will see closer to 2 to 4 inches of snow. I do think this is a bit of an underestimate, and even back through areas in central Oklahoma, I think this entire area is at least somewhere between a coating to 2 inches of snow. Back over in the Texas Panhandle, there's definitely a higher chance of seeing there between 4 to 8 inches of snowfall in some locations. Then back through the Ohio Valley, again, not really much of impressive snowfall in terms of this time of the year, at least in early February or even mid-February. You expect more snow than this, but really not much. We're talking anywhere from a coating to maybe a few inches of snow. The Northeast is a completely different story. Again, we're going to be watching for the potential for a lot more snowfall up here. Notice that the European model is indicating as of now between 4 to 8 inches of snow in a pretty widespread area from New Hampshire back into Pennsylvania, but it even has a pretty widespread area between 10 to 15 inches of snow from Massachusetts back into Northeast Pennsylvania. But I do want to mention that there is still some uncertainty on exactly how quickly the system intensifies. There could be a pretty big difference in terms of snowfall accumulation if there are some changes to the overall intensity to this storm. The European ensembles are still only giving areas in the Northeast around an 80% chance of seeing greater than 1 inch of snowfall, which is weird because it's showing 15 inches of snowfall, for example, in a few areas. There's definitely still some uncertainty on exactly how much snow falls and where it falls, so stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll continue to keep you posted with this system, but there is a increasing likelihood that we'll see at least somewhere between 4 to 8 inches of snowfall in a pretty widespread area, and then potentially again some areas over 8 foot of snow. But it really is contingent on that storm intensifying very quickly. Now, this is what the severe weather outlook is for the next several days, beginning with flying fences Friday. We do currently have a marginal threat of severe weather from Texas all the way back through southern Indiana. The main concern right now is isolated damaging winds, isolated large hail, and perhaps a brief tornado tonight. I'm not overly concerned about this, not really as compared to yesterday, but you still want to be mindful, have multiple ways to receive alerts, have a tornado action plan in place just in case. I will not be live tonight. I'm actually going to be going away for the weekend, so unfortunately no live stream for tonight. Tomorrow we do have a marginal threat of severe weather in south and central Texas for suspicious storms Saturday. The main concern right now will be damaging winds, perhaps an isolated tornado. Sunday is a bit of a different story, a more elevated risk for severe weather. We do have a slight risk of severe weather stretching from Texas back into western Alabama. I wouldn't be shocked if we got some sort of enhanced risk in here, but for now it is a slight risk of severe weather. The main concern being damaging winds and as well as large hail. Large hail is definitely a lower concern, and then also an isolated tornado risk will definitely exist there. Now, this is what the temperatures look like for the next several days. That low pressure system has pushed out this massive heat wave out of the United States, so we are done with this heat wave, at least for now. Colder weather will start to usher in as we go into this weekend and early next week in the southern tier of the United States, and then by Tuesday into Wednesday, relatively around average for most of the United States in terms of temperatures. By next weekend, an Arctic blast looks more likely. Now, big question marks that remain with this is exactly how cold it gets and exactly where we see this cold weather, etc. Will there be any snow with it? All those questions, again, still up in the air since we're still talking about 8 days out from now, but I will have a more detailed forecast on this in our next forecast. So make sure you stay tuned, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and like the video.